You are now listening to the Sleevy Five Word Podcast.
Welcome. I'm your host, the man with a face for radio, Sleevy Wonder himself. In today's show, we've got loads of new music from up-and-coming artists we're working with, alongside an awesome interview with Cracker Jon, the man himself. And if you haven't already, please vote Cracker Jon for Prime Minister and check out his manifesto. It comes up during the show and you can hear about some of the laws and, well, incentives that he would create if he was your Prime Minister. But for now, let's jump into some fresh new music. The first up-and-coming track we've got on our podcast today is by J-Man and it's called Dandelion. Now, if this instrumental doesn't get you writing, I don't know what will. But this track really doesn't need any further ado. Check it out now and let us know what you think in the comments below. Now that was J-Man and the track was called Dandelion. It's available on all streaming platforms now and it's from his up-and-coming EP, Flowers. This is definitely a producer to watch. It's got some absolute fire beats. Most of them are all up on YouTube, etc., like SoundCloud, so on. If you haven't already, go check them out now. This next track is a personal favourite of mine. It's by a close personal friend, Dr. Fu Manchu, and it's called King for a Day. And well, if any of you know me personally, it's got a few mantras in there that I'd like to live by myself. Some of the lines kind of stick out to me. I'd rather be a king for a day than prince for a week. And well, that's why I'm skint and I'm missing some teeth. But if you haven't already, check it out now. It's on all streaming platforms and it's coming up next in the show. Some absolute fire right here by Dr. Fu Manchu, coming out on Soylent Green, the new and up and coming record label.
I can always edit it, and then you get in that phone box. Yeah. Okay, boom, boom.
Soylent Green, Genghis Days, Dr. Fu Manchu. Words as callous as the hand that grips mics. You hold it like a phallus, triple shit rhymes. Out of reach, like followed by fist fights. I see you need insight. My advice is just quit life. To this big CD love, you're a thin slice of shit white harvest process. While I proceed to progress, my status of focus. I look broken and hopeless. Pray to the vultures for a plague of locusts. Worth more than my weight in gold when I crocus. Like the stamen and the crocus, it's only my shoes that are soulless. A goon on a rock Spin around the wall, I find you feeling hopeless. Clinging to memories of moments like vital components. Crusty aromas, dusty erosions. My mind's just as fucked as my nose is. Not like I just noticed. Rather be the king for a day, the prince for a week. That's why I'm scared and I'm missing some teeth. Living disease, it's a beast, not fulfilling his dreams. Scribbling scenes of wizards of thieves. Rather be the king for a day, the prince for a week. That's why I'm scared and I'm missing some teeth. Living disease, it's a beast, not fulfilling his dreams. Scribbling scenes of wizards of thieves. My brain's crazy lately. Vivid visions and daydreams berate me, or maybe that's what innovates me. I'm just flesh, bone and pastry, 80% gravy, savoury, the mutant escapee that lived off of baked beans. Plotting depraved schemes, I use hot sauce and face cream. So while at 40 at 80 and I'm morbidly spacey, you're awfully lazy, normally twitchy and pasty. No fix can change me, living with the sanity or safety. Cringing in society, soylent green like a coat from the 80s. Cut from the cloth that held the devil as a baby. Pick the threads and weave to the fabric that creates me. Fu Manchu's not to sleep cause I daydream. The range freak maybe, know where to maim or tame me. I've stared death in the eyes, you can't face me. Rather be the king for a day, the prince for a week. That's why I'm scared and I'm missing some teeth. Living disease, it's a beast, not fulfilling his dreams. Scribbling scenes of wizards of thieves. Rather be the king for a day, the prince for a week. That's why I'm scared and I'm missing some teeth. Living disease, it's a beast, not fulfilling his dreams. Scribbling scenes of wizards of thieves. I'd rather be the king for a day, the prince for a week. That's why I'm scared and I'm missing some teeth. Living disease, it's a beast, not fulfilling his dreams. Scribbling scenes of wizards of thieves.
Now that was some pure fire, like I say, it's one of my favourites. It's by Dr. Fu Manchu and it's called King for a Day. If you didn't catch it from the start, it's by Soil and Green Records, or it's coming out on Soil and Green Records, and it's available on all streaming platforms. Now this track should be a bit more well known. It's by the one and only Sean Pang and Ill Informed. It's called The Green God, or Green God. And it's from Trips to the Medicine Cabinet. It came out in 2019, so if you all haven't streamed it by now, you need to go over to all major streaming platforms, YouTube, Apple Music, Deezer, etc., and just start streaming it up right now, because this is a heavy tune, and if you don't know, you need to get to know now. Check it out.
Yes, people without shoes, that's right. I just want you to do me a favor, one favor. You know, stand up and salute this underground hip-hop. It's just a beautiful thing. Hip-hop make the world go round, you know. Turn that mic on, let's go. Yes, all hail to the Green God. Against odds, sabotage your whole squad. That's right. Got a backpack full of raps, I guess you process. I'm quick to react. Take that, homie. Fuck contracts, I don't need that. See that number, raw rap for feedback. Like that. Win all battles and wars. I used to love her, hip-hop, she a whore. Loving no hardcore, down to these hard floors. Real shit, I flip more than parkour. Like that. Store files, profile, analog. Can't balance, flow, turn like waterlogs. Jobs get done, I approach. Pass first class, high times and coach. Coast on beats, I belong here. Push eyes back so it's no tears. Cheers from the crowd, I'm allowed. Wild cowboy, the OK Corral. Smile for the cameras, dimmer. Pose, throw 'em out like gold dinner. Garbage, glimmer of hope, see I'm dope. Walking my path, get your legs broke. Go.
Every day the same black. I'm chained up in the lab with my brain sat in the back. I should take it back and try cop a newer version. I'm pulling at the wires to see if it's still working. These cuts are urgent, operate like brain surgeons. Now we're test subjects just like some caged vermin. I stay certain I'll always spray these sermons before they close the stage and have to draw the curtains. Blaze the Durban while they're churning out the trash heap and still run the track like I'm a training athlete. You ain't getting past me, already done 100 laps. You like a shit comedian, lacking in them comebacks. These dumb cats trying to play me for a fool. I see you robbing styles, but you ain't dropping no jewels. Cause you a mutt, you a mule, thinking that you're cool. But you ain't no Casanova, man, we take 'em back to school.
Yo, I'm flames like jalapeno, blow up like a neutrino. You can't test my CeeLo, back up the whole casino. Smoke a Barry the Beano, I'm so ill like chemo. Oh, you might just chat shit and trust me, fam, we know. How'd you hold your head up with that inflamed ego? You go ahead and HD, but you still can't see the C though. Acting
Now, if that's your first introduction to Sean Pang and Ellen Formed, they absolutely smashed it. That track was called Green God, and it's from Trips to the Medicine Cabinet. It came out in 2009 and is available on all major streaming platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, etc. Go stream it up now. This next one's by Chatter and the Filthy Bar Kid. It's called Raise a Fist, and it's also featuring J-Man, Joe Byrne and Fiona Jane, and it's out on JK Beats on all major streaming platforms now. This is an absolute gas track. The whole fam is on this. Go check it out now. It's definitely one to watch.
Stormy waters on the forecast, are batten down the hatches. Alternative news keeps the lab rats distracted from mishaps and faxes. Never gonna end well when leaders are acting like trap kids. Was promised in action and very much contrasted. This whole bloody system is made of plastic, I can't stand it. Open up your eyes and tell me what you really see. Well, full of lies, not a single person to believe. It's almost like politicians forget how to speak when issues put to lie. Straight up crumble cause they're fucking weak. We need to unite, rise up and make a stand with your middle finger raised, shouting what like you're the man. I stand tall and feel proud for doing my bit. I'm not keeping score, but bare heads are bumping our shit. Anyway I see fit, catch me where the fire is. Keep pressure on like paranoia from a giant split.
System is broken down. Say they'll fix it, don't know how. Sky weighing heavy now, so raise a fist above the clouds. Shake off the looming dread. Shout a little louder instead. They say all hope is dead, but all's not done and all's not.
One celebrity madness, we won our legendary status. It's way bigger than the ends. We're on repping the Atlas. Jay and Chatter come to shows with TNT and some Semtex. Ready to blow up anytime soon, like check the test press. Raised on the stage, saw fiends on the brown baggy. Jake's on the case, bob and weave like I'm Calzaghe. Parring them, nah, you ain't asking for an argument. Just setting up a sound system outside Parliament. The body's round, but the mind ain't present. Nah, it stays residing in the Cayman Islands. Rays are shining where the waves colliding. Take my mind away from places that I hate surviving. You'll catch me lighting up a stage, I'm a barn winner. Smashing it like plates at a bar mitzvah. Reveal the diamond in the dirt, rhyming introvert. Super silver haze surfing. Sort man out of bend like my name's Sherman.
System is broken down. Say they'll fix it, don't know how. Sky weighing heavy now, so raise a fist above the clouds. Shake off the looming dread. Shout a little louder instead. They say all hope is dead, but all's not done and all's not.
Yeah, it's that rebel scum. Hooded up task force to the devil's drum. Talking in several tongues to the smoke that tethered lungs. Finding my salvation, escaping the clutch of Babylon. The windows of my vessel for witness to what I've overcome. Over on the stand firm, we anything's in your democracy today, free. Yeah, it's the mark of the beast. Socially fought, justice, contradict peace. World War III conceived over first world tweets. I'm staying lawless, flawless, precautious. Fresh off the estates and off the porches, holding torches. Red dot, scheming PTA, they're priming forces. Cornered by imperial forces across the orbit. Purify the wicked up, bringing that fire, I Johnny Storm it. Get booked to warm it, believe it burn for them to sort it. Moving ill and morbid, Chatter, J-Man, Joe Byrne causes. Soldiers for the causes, we stand firm.
System is broken down. Say they'll fix it, don't know how. Sky weighing heavy now, so raise a fist above the clouds. Shake off the looming dread. Shout a little louder instead. They say all hope is dead, but all's not done and all's not.
Now, I know there was a reason Chatter had so many people on the track. Now, if that's not a reason to collab, I don't know what is. Again, it's on JK Beats. It's on all major streaming platforms. That was Chatter and the Filthy Bar Kid, Raise a Fist, and it was featuring J-Man, Joe Byrne and Fiona Jane. It was an absolutely gas tune, like I said before. Go check it out now on all major streaming platforms and drop your comments below. Yes, this next one's an absolute banger. It's by our very own Scrap Gold, Manny Marco himself, and it's called Decimals. It's an independent release and it's absolutely dope. Scrap Gold's been working on loads of stuff recently. He's just dropped his very first 12-inch, so go grab it now. Without any further ado, here's Scrap Gold, Decimals.
We got it locked down like we didn't even have a choice. Try and talk truth and you're deemed as paranoid. We set sail from beneath the blackest void as I exhale the amnesia trapezoid. Counting 28 down to the decimals. Fly light covering the clouds with the chemicals. Eyes full of blood, mouth full of edibles, and empty gaze popping out the shrouds with the pentacles. Resonate the waves via EMF. Through the wires that playing with fire leads to death. If it seems like you're struggling in vain, it's just something in your brain, you're afraid of the 5G effect. I got the grand pack and a jet of smoke. You can go and check the band camp for the fresh and dope. Trying to get the hand claps like a Leslie note. Red letter day, anthrax on the envelope. Get it down to the decimals, straight to the point, get the ones and O's. Gonna loud with the decibels, as we get it down to the decimals. We get it down to the decimals, straight to the point, get the ones and O's. Gonna loud with the decibels, as we get it down to the decimals. Breaking down the isotopes for energy. Tinfoil helmet for the mind control telepathy. Underground light, digging for the sample of the sound while I ramble on the microphone relentlessly. No play light, radio immunity. Indoors trying to keep safe in the community. Truly G, you might hate me for my lunacy, but better recognize we keep it wavy like Laguna Beach. Counting 28 down to the decimals. The right amount for an ounce of the vegetables. My heart thumping, sounds like a festival, but really it's the deadly venom drowning my ventricles. I've caused disgust like I never have. Now I'm trying to gain trust as a better man. I blow the kush parallelogram, black lungs kicking up the dust past your epitaph. Get it down to the decimals, straight to the point, get the ones and O's. Gonna loud with the decibels, as we get it down to the decimals. Get it down to the decimals, straight to the point, get the ones and O's. Gonna loud with the decibels, as we get it down to the decimals. Ready for the harvest, smoking what floats my boat like Elian Gonzalez. I'm the man who put the Remy in the Martins.
Raw. Now the lyricism in that track was next. If you haven't already, go follow Scrap Gold on all the socials. Make sure you're streaming it and grabbing the new 12-inch he's just released. Like I say, that is an absolute fire track. And it's all independently released by my G Scrap Gold. And if you haven't already, go check out his exclusive bars video on our YouTube channel now. Now, without further ado, it's time to get Cracker Jon on the show and get him involved with a little interview and see what he's been up to. The man that really needs no introduction, as he'll be your next Prime Minister. Make sure to vote for him now and catch his manifesto at the end. Now let's jump straight in with our first question. What are you currently working on?
I've just nearly finished an album with Northern Irish producer called Violently Ill. It's about a 30 to 40 minute album. No features, it's all me. I've got a few DJs on there, Jazz T, DJ ADS. I've got DJ Scully on there now. We're just waiting for everyone to approve everything and that will go to press. I've just started another album with HK, aka the Cat Burglar. Before I go any further, I'd like to say, big up you and sorry for being long. I just want to explain to everyone, I have a phone but no microphone, so getting hold of me has been stressful. So big ups to my boy Zach, and big ups to you, Sleevy, for being patient with me. But yeah, the next album coming that I'm starting to work on now is with HK the Cat Burglar. We've got Verbs on a feature. We've got a few other people on the feature. Until they get on it, I'm not going to say their names because I hate, what's the word, like jinxing myself, innit? Do you know what I mean? So I'll keep that under wraps. But yeah, it's looking good, man. I've got another couple things. I've done some tracks for El Mariacho, Blunted Sloth, done some stuff for Kaio Itachi. But that's just a couple tracks. Like if it comes to it, I'd like to make more work with them. But obviously I'm sort of busy, but not at the moment, man. So yeah, it's good. I've got that coming up, man.
That's awesome. And what labels are they coming out on?
The Violently Ill one should come out on Ill Records, as far as I'm aware, and all the rest is still up for grabs because obviously it's still in the process, man. So it's all a work in progress, which is good.
That's awesome. When's your next show?
When's my next show? Well, because of lockdown, it's unpredictable, man. I was supposed to be doing some festivals and they got cancelled. I did a show in V-Bar in Croydon recently. I did one show when it was lockdown, and that was cool because, I don't know, there was no one there. But then I did one a couple months after, and it was like a socially distanced event. And it's all right. I liked it, but it's just a weird vibe, innit? Like, it's different. It's like a spoken word sort of seminar. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know. I didn't mind it too much. People more... I don't know, but my next show, I probably will be at V-Bar again. They wanted to book me. But as far as I'm aware, hopefully if the festivals go on this year, I'll be at a couple. But obviously it's all up in arms, mate, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? No one knows.
Yeah, of course. We're waiting on the update in July, aren't we?
Well, yeah, but then we're probably waiting another one, then another one, then another one. Do you know what I mean? Well, we'll see how it goes, man. Let's be optimistic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, fingers crossed. Boris lets us out soon, eh?
Innit? Fingers crossed, touch wood.
But in terms of it, how would you say like the show differed for you in terms of like your normal setup? I'm guessing it was weird playing a show in lockdown.
It was different. Like obviously, where you're used to the crowd being at the front and like I don't know, stage diving and like throwing water in people's faces and like just doing nut stuff. Like you could still do call outs like say hell yeah. That all still works. So you still had crowd participation. But it just wasn't. There wasn't enough engagement. It's weird. Like I like to engage with people and freak people out. So I miss doing that.
Yeah, no, I can feel that. It must take a lot of it away. Like I know from previous shows, and you like to get up and you like to get out in with the crowd, and you like to, not in a rude way, but you like to break that wall between the stage and the crowd.
Yeah, mate, 100%.
With COVID, you've not been able to do so, I expect.
No, I could do that. I don't know if it'd be allowed yet, but I like performing with cordless mics, man, because then you can just roll out on the stage. You can do some Action Bronson thing and go get chicken and then come back. You know what I mean? Just do some madness. But yeah, with COVID, it is a lot harder, man. But you just got to work with it, man. Like a bad workman blames his tools. Do you know what I mean? You just got to go with it and get the best out of it that you can, man.
No, I feel you. And speaking of like Action Bronson and funny gig stories, what's your funniest gig story?
Oh God, there's a couple. I remember flipping. I did a show with a couple people, and I got a beta. I don't know. Yeah, I might not tell that story. Basically, I remember going Outlook though. I did Outlook show. I went to do a show in Outlook, and I brought no money and 50 CDs, and I got blind drunk one night and then woke up and there was a bunch of girls behind me like, oh my God, you're so funny there. I was like, yeah, cool, where's my bag? And they're like, you didn't have a bag with you. And my bag had like, it was a gym bag with like a passport, money, the like 4 CDs left that I didn't sell. And I was like, no way. And about like half a mile down the beach, my bag was getting washed up by the tide, bruv. And I was like, no. And I run over to it. Everything was in there. Touch wood, fingers crossed, thumbs held, yeah. But that was probably the scariest time. Amsterdam once and got arrested before the show. That was to do with graphing and stuff. That weren't fun. I spent 19 hours in a cell. Ironically enough, when I was getting taken to the cells, I was obviously saying, look, I've got a gig, and one of the feds like, oh, you're a rapper then? Go on, give us a rap. So I rapped to the policeman on the way back to the cell with my hands cuffed behind my back. It's the most weird feeling. And they're like, oh, you're pretty good. And then just locked me up for ages. And then I eventually got out, touch wood. But yeah, that was a pretty crazy story, man. I've got a couple others, but they're a bit... man, and there's two up next to me.
I understand.
So yeah, sorry if you can hear him. He's just playing cooking, man.
No, that's all right.
But yeah, no, there's some funny stories, man.
Yeah, I can imagine it's not the best place to get banged up as well. Amsterdam's pretty lenient on most things, but to be able to get into their nicks, I guess it's one of those. It's not where you want to be spending the weekend.
Projects, obviously, like all I remember is we went to a warehouse party and they had a microphone set up, and I started rapping because they had a microphone set up. That's what I do. And the guy who owned the warehouse was like, "Oh my god, you're sick," and then just plastered me with shots and shots and shots. And then I woke up in a cell. So actually, I had no idea what happened. Shouts to my flipping Cody who was there with me. Flipping, he got bagged as well. Saying no names, but it's all good now. It's all sorted. But yeah, that was long, bro. That was long. I've never laughed and cried so much in my life. I'll tell you that for free.
No, bless you. I can imagine.
But yeah, we're all back now. Do you know what I mean?
No, I feel that. And speaking of like travels and graph and stuff like that, where do you find yourself writing the most?
What, writing lyrics or writing the other sort of way?
Writing lyrics mainly, but I guess it could be seen in both respects because you write in that regard as well.
Yeah, I mean, back in the, I'm getting old now, so I usually just chill writing paint ways. Like I'm not as mad as I used to be. But flipping with writing, I tend to find like I don't write at home as much. Like recently, I've been going the coast, innit, on the south coast. So I've been going there and looking after a cat, ironically, while she goes away. And I've just been writing bare lyrics at the beach, mate. And it's just, I don't know what it is. It's just open space and sort of you can just think and look at the waves. I tend to write like shit tons of lyrics, man. It's nuts. But if I'm at home and stuff, I like, if I go studio, I write in it or I have something prepared. So it's either in the studio or in an open space where I can think, man. The city, man. It's a weird one. That's what I think anyway.
No, I get that.
Well, there's a lot of like, what would I say? Like from living in the city, you get a lot of influence to go away and then write that down. I suppose that's a good way of looking at it. You go through all this madness and you get away and you can reflect on it. I suppose when you're living in the madness, you don't get time to constantly busy. Do you know what I mean? That's the way of looking at it. Getting mad philosophical now, man.
It's like the old saying, innit? You know, for everywhere you walk, if you take 2 steps forward and 1 step back, you'll see more of the world. But when you're in the centre of it, you ain't got time for that.
I've never heard of that still. I like that. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I like that.
Yeah, if you take 2 steps forward and 1 step back, it'll take you twice as long to get anywhere, but you'll always see more of the world that way.
Yeah, and you'll enjoy it a lot more. You'll live a longer life, innit, I suppose. That's a good bloody point. It's like the tortoise and the hare, innit? The tortoise probably saw way more of the world than the hare.
Exactly.
Ironically, through lockdown, yeah, I remember me and my mate went out because I live near the city, innit? And we were walking around the city, and we realised, like, because there's, like, no one around and you're not going somewhere or doing something, you can take in a lot more. And I'd be like, oh, shit, I didn't even know that was there. Like, and you just notice things you never noticed before, which is mad interesting, man. You wouldn't think that.
No, 100%. Like when you're writing and stuff, obviously we all know you mainly through your hip hop stuff, but is there any other genre you've worked on, or is there any music you find yourself writing to that's outside of hip hop?
Not recently. Like when I started when I was like 14, 15, like grime was a big thing, man. So I used to write to grime probably before hip hop, but around the same time. I suppose I found grime. I suppose I wrote grime lyrics first, or did I write hip hop lyrics first? It's very flipping. What's the word? Like very similar, man. I couldn't tell ya, but I do. Anyway, long story short, I used to write grime lyrics, and I remember like when I go to shows and stuff, and there's drum and bass on, they say come and spit and stuff. I usually use the grime lyrics I wrote when I was like 16 years old, mate, and they still get like love in it, which is very strange, I find, man. So I'm nearly like double that age.
Now that's always dope. I love it when you hear necessarily untraditional MCs spitting on something that's it's not necessarily their bag normally, but
yeah,
it's good
no,
to
definitely
get them out of comfort zone. Do you know what I mean? And it's always nice to hear someone who would normally rap like slow pull out a double time flow that you wouldn't expect from them.
Of course, and that's why I don't really do songs like it, because I'd rather keep it hidden under wraps. Like I'd rather keep it as like a what do you call it, like a secret weapon or whatever. Also, you mentioned in that, shouts to Speaker Louis. He's a drum and bass producer. Me and him started an album and we're planning to finish it in the fall of this year. So that'll be out next year at some point, hopefully, touch wood, if everything goes to plan. So yeah, you'll hear a drum and bass album from Cracker Jon, hopefully. So I sort of am expanding my things, innit? Technically.
Yeah, man.
I don't know, I just like hip hop, man. I like it too much to let it go. I like to stay to my lane, man.
I think it's one of those, for a lot of us, hip-hop's always going to be in our blood.
Yeah, exactly. You're always going to treat it more respect than other genres, man. Definitely. Or you're going to take, like, what's the word? Like, more, you're going to have more attention into detail in it. Like, you're going to care about it more.
Yeah, 100%. In terms of, like, when you're writing and stuff like that, who would you say your biggest influence is for the music that you write? Is there, like, a tune that you're rating really hard at the moment, or is there an artist that's always, like, a go-to, or...
I tell you what, at one point, I sort of stopped writing at one point, maybe like 3 odd years ago, probably a bit less than that. And then I found these artists, some American artists called SD Nack and Al Divino, and they're just insanely lyrical, man. And then from that, it made me think, okay, there's still lyrical hip hop out there. Because a lot of it did just dry out, man. But it seems like there's a resurgence of new wave, like EO, who else is there? Daniel Son, all these just like providing real hip hop, and it made me like want to do it again. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, I love my old school stuff like Organized Confusion. I listen to that consistently. What else is there? Like Onyx, I love, like just mad hype stuff. Obviously, Big Pun, DITC, all that. Like I still listen to old school traditional hip hop, but being that I've listened to it nearly 10,000 times, it does get annoying, man. But yeah, all the new ways, that especially SD Nack and Al Divino, I've listened to all their albums now, like a lot of times, and it really gives me influence to like write more lyrical stuff.
Get that. That's really dope. It's nice to hear, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners will be checking out a few of those recommendations as well.
Mate, definitely, man. Please do, man.
You know, if you've not heard of it already, listen to Cracker Jon and go check him out. He's saying they're the ones to watch.
Exactly. No, they're not what they were. I rate them personally, innit? These are the new wave of artists that I sort of respect and flipping, yeah, would tell people to go to if they wanted to get into new wave hip hop. Yeah, you're very right, actually. That's true.
And when did you start writing? Is it something you've always done, or was it something you started in your teenage years, or?
Mate, I was like probably 13, 14, and like I don't know. I remember getting into bait hip hop, like Eminem and stuff like that. But I remember thinking at some point, I was like, I could do this. And then from that, I just started writing lyrics. I remember writing like, it was more personal lyrics about like my family and stuff. And then I got into like, I remember like, I don't know, just being shown more. I remember the first 2 proper hip hop albums I ever got were Dead Prez Let's Get Free. And I think it was Non-Fiction. The first album, the 8%, sure that's right. Anyway, those 2 were obviously a big influence in how I restarted writing. I got into it commercially, and when I started listening to like real hip hop and getting into like, I don't know, KRS-One, Das FX, Cool G Rap, like or leaders of the new school, even Busta Rhymes The Coming. Like I like music between like, it seems 88 and 98. It seems like maybe a little bit after, but that 88, 98 era is just beautiful, man. Arsonists, As the World Burns, that was a massive influence on my stuff. Who else, man? Who else do I rinse regularly? If I think about it. Yeah, Redman is another big influence, man. Yeah, Redman and Organized Confusion, I'd say, are my 2 biggest influences, man.
And when you're writing, do you prefer spitting written bars or freestyles?
What do you mean? What, when I'm writing?
Yeah, so now, say if you were putting pen to page and you're trying to come up with a new verse, will you sit there and ponder over the same verse over and over again until you find something that fits? Or will it be a case you'll freestyle it all and just be like, right, that's sick. I did it in one take. I'm just going to write that and use that.
When I write lyrics, it's the hardest thing I find writing lyrics is the first sentence, basically. Like if I can write something, I don't know, like I'm sitting here with a beer. Like if I can just write something that's slightly clever, I can go with that. But if I've got a blank page in front of me, I tend to find it quite hard to just start. Like I always find starting the hardest bit. As soon as I've figured out, like in front of me, I've got something that says Days of Wonder. So I'm like, okay, cool, bang, right, we're living in the days of wonder. And then from that, I'll just start thinking how to rhyme how to use a scheme of rhymes to make Days of Wonder, like even use the syllables to make it sound as like or as different to another word, but still sound the same. So there's certain words that you can use that, like, especially like London accent's hardest to do it with, yeah. But if you have other accents, you could use words much easier and they all rhyme. So I tend to try and do that with like my sort of words, man. Just try and replicate like some mad lyrical sorcery, sorry, not mastery. If that makes sense, anyway.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. It sounds really deep. It sounds like you've got a really in tuned process for how you're going about it.
Yeah, it's weird you say that though, because some people do say my lyrics sound like freestyle, and I think it's because I don't know. I'm like, right, what rhymes with that? And then as I'm writing it, I'll think of something like I'll think of another double syllable rhyme with that. Do you know what I mean? So it will just keep me going and keep me going. This is why I like I don't know, Pharaoh Monch and people like that, the way they got mad intricate rhyme schemes.
Completely agree, and it's something else about the lyricy that's involved at that point. When you start going into that level, and you start using like, sound awful, but multi-syllable words, and then rhyming vernacular, it just brings a whole nother level to your rhyming patterns.
It does, man. I always said this, yeah. This has been always my rule. Like, you've got to have the voice, then the flow, and then the content. You can have flow and content and have a really bad voice, no one will rate you. You can have you can have a voice and have no flow and no content and still be. Some people are famous going meh, meh, like, do you know what I mean? You can have a voice and a flow and no content and still be famous because you can rap in time. But having all three, as I come up, I think like if you sorry about that. Anyway, flipping.
Right.
Yeah, so I think if you've got a voice, you've got to start with the voice, man. If you ain't got a good voice, no one's going to respect your thing. And then you've got the flow comes after, because you can rap in time. And then after comes the content where you can actually rap in time, and now you've got something to say. Do you know what I mean? Like that. Wait, be careful, mate. So yeah, that's that. You got something to say after you got the first two down. It's like a pyramid scheme.
That's cool.
But yeah, sorry, man. We got kids throwing stuff about. Sorry, don't want to cook anymore. Yeah, mate. Sorry, go on, man.
No, he's all right. He wants to get involved in the interview too.
Yeah, no, it's all right. He's gone outside now. Hello, mate. Say Cracker Jon. Say Cracker Jon. He's gone all shy now. Little wimp. Right, go on. Yeah, sorry, man. Go on.
But no, that's blessed, man. The only other thing I wanted to ask really was,
go on.
Just for the jokes of it, is there anything funny that you request on your rider when we're booking you, or is there anything mad you request? Like when I was playing shows when I was younger, I asked for stuff like water pistols and rubber ducks just to see if any promoters would buy it for me.
Oh, that's jokes. I remember I did do a Halloween party. I can't remember what that was now. But it was a sick Halloween party. Shouts to fucking, what's his name? Nugs, man. Shouts to Nugs, man. He put on some Halloween party. But for rider, but we turned up empty-handed, and I was like, oh mate, if it's a Halloween party, people are gonna be dressing up, like we sort of need to dress up. So then from that we started getting props, like I got black eyes, so I looked like some zombie, and then we got like some weird like puppet thing up on stage. It was all madness though, but it's bare fun in it, like, do you know what I mean? I've never asked for anything new. You know what? I'm gonna do that now. You've influenced me to ask for silly shit.
Honestly, see who gives you what. It's funny. It's worth a crack, right? The worst they can say
definitely. Exactly. Or they'll be like, why do you want that? But mate, I want 18 condoms blown up as balloons, and I want smiley faces put on them all around the stage. They'll be like, what? Do you know what I mean? Just the weirdest stuffing thing. But like, I want your grandma to come on stage with nipple tassels and swing her boobs around 360 degrees to people. Otherwise, I'm not playing. That's a bit extreme, innit? Sorry, man.
No, you're right. It'd be fun. I'd like to see one promoter try, you know?
Innit? Mate, he's got some horny grandma if she's willing to do that.
So we know we now need to get some next level promoters to be booking Cracker Jon.
I know. I don't think anyone's going to book me after this. Do you know what I mean? I'll be like, nah, this seems like a lot to deal with. Do you know what I mean?
Nah, we'll still book you, brothers.
Don't worry, I won't ask for too much, man.
Bless you. And in terms of like last bits, just before we close off, was there anything else you wanted to give out to anyone in the crowd or anyone?
Shout outs to all my Dolphins. Shout outs to all my fans who still buy my music and still listen to me. Appreciate it all the time. I do it for myself, but I appreciate everyone that loves me doing it for myself, and I think everyone should do stuff for themselves. Be brave. If you can't, then behave. Shouts to DFN645. Shouts to Zach for letting me use his stuff because I have no microphone on my phone because I'm rolling poor right now. Shouts to Violently Ill, HK, PBC645, ADL, said that already. Shouts to all the graphers, shouts to all the rappers, and peace and love to everyone, man. Say to you for having me. Do you know what I mean? I'll be fucking rocking some sleevy gums at the next show, man, 100%.
Pleasure, bro. And honestly, it's always a pleasure to have you involved in anything we do.
Mate, thanks for having me, man. I mad appreciate it, man. It's always been good vibes, mate. Do you know what I mean? I fuck with good vibes, man. That's the way.
Man. Likewise, and big up for joining us and getting involved in the team, and thank you for doing the podcast. And
mate, absolute pleasure, man.
And if you haven't already, to everyone else, go grab yourself the latest release from Cracker Jon. It's some dope shit.
Exactly. On my Bandcamp, there's an album I done that's produced by Tommy Pickled. It's called Morons of the Night Out. It's about a year old. I did release it, but I didn't do much promotion for it. So if you're a real fan, go check that out, man. And apart from that, look forward to the next of the albums coming out, man. I've got a couple music videos I'm going to do. That's in the pipeline. And then once that's done, I'm mad, ready to go, man. Do you know what I mean?
Sick one. So make sure you're hitting Cracker Jon up for your features. The guy's always in the studio recording features for people.
Mate, 100%, man. Give me a shout. Cracker Jon for Prime Minister, yeah? Flipping number one, before you have children, you should have a pet. Because if you can't look after a goldfish, you don't deserve to have children. Number two, if you're a man, you'll grow your hair and you'll cut it for charity to give to little kids with cancer and stuff. That will be implemented as law, so men can't now cut their hair. And you'll need a license to show that if you've got short hair that you have donated it. Otherwise, there'll be a fine introduced. And we'll cause all peace and love in the world, and we'll stop all wars, and we'll ban all weapons. You have to now fight with your fists.
That's crazy. All of those laws, bro.
Bang, bang. I've got a lot more, but that's off the top of my head, man. I've actually got like a... What's it called? When you write...
Manifesto.
That's the one. But I haven't... It's not complete, but I've started... It's about 8-9 pages in, man. But I'm going to eventually do a petition. A Cracker Jon for Prime Minister petition. But I'm waiting until the world's even more fucked up, man. Because it's not fucked up for me yet. I'm going to wait till hip-hop's like... You see hip-hop comes in waves, yeah? Eventually hip-hop will come back in a wave, and they'll be waiting for that lyrical, political MC, and I'll be there to hold the flag and be like, yo, let's bring everyone in and get this place fucked up.
That'll be gas.
Right.
Course, bro. We'll have you as our next Prime Minister, and we'll slack off that Ginger Boris.
Yes, exactly. We can go look after his own kids. Why do we have to fund his children? Sucky bastards.
Well, thank you for joining us. Big
peace and love, mate.
To you.
You too,
and
man.
I'll catch you soon for the next one.
Mate, I'll catch you on the flip side, man. Safe to everyone for listening. Peace and love, yeah?
Thank you for Cracker Jon for joining us. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show, and I'm sure everyone else will say how we've loved having you interview and hearing what you've been up to. If you haven't already, go follow him now on all major streaming platforms. Hit him up for exclusives. Whatever you need, the man is always in the studio recording verses for people. His work rate is unreal. And make sure you cop his upcoming releases and check him out on our page. He's got a dope freestyle with This and That Media. Go check it out now. Now it's time that we speed up the tempo a bit on the show and we start dropping some grime and D&B as the show progresses. If you haven't already and you want to get involved with what we're doing on the podcast, with the brand, hit us up on socials via DM. We're always looking for new artists to get involved with our ambassadors group and start promoting music with us and doing what we're doing. Join the family, join the crew, etc. So hit us up now and stay tuned for this next tune that's coming up. It's by VIPs and able to plug. It's called Gola and it's an absolute grime banger. If you haven't already, check it out now and make sure you're staying tuned to listen.
This is an Able exclusive. 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 Oh my lord.
feeler. If she ticks the boxes, I'll meme her. If she gets fucked off freeze, cause I strike, you know that's Adidas. And I never go back to a cougar. I can never be ashamed of wearing Puma. But the trust is mad, she'll never let a man from her next team score, she's goaler. I fit her shoe, she's feeler. If she ticks the boxes, then I'll beam her. If she gets fucked off 3 cans of strike, then you know that's Adidas. And I never go back to a cougar. And I never be ashamed of wearing Puma. But the trust is mad, she'll never let a man from her next team score, she's goaler. If I fit the shoe, yeah, she's feeling. If she ticks the boxes, I'll meme her. If she gets fucked off 3 cans of strike, then you know that babe is Adidas. And I never go back to a cougar. And I'll never be ashamed of wearing Puma. But her trust is mad and she'll never let a man from her next team score, she's goaler. Don't watch too much TV, she's unorthodox. More time she reads books, no, she's a keeper. Aura's out of this world, I'm sure she's from Holland, yeah, her name's Rita. I met her at a corner shop, it was down in Ibiza, or was it Reefer? Now come to think of it, it was the East End, nah, wait, the Southwest. She never heard of grime before the show that I hosted on a weekend. It's all blessed, yeah, she can't help but pretend. With a brat hair, reload there, pull up, wheel up. Who, what, where? When, wait, what? When did your man get there? You said you don't watch too much TV, you're unorthodox, you read books, you're a keeper. But really she's just a Brazil in the sky, shag I left repeat, what offender. Hola bonita, mi nombre ya stan señorita. QSL Toyo, estate Fando. But don't worry about Mando. They do bop on the side roads to a little vibe speech with a side piece. I fit the shoe, she's feeling. If she ticks the boxes, I'll meme her. If she gets fucked off freeze, cause I strike, you know that's Adidas. And I never go back to a cougar. I can never be ashamed of wearing Puma. But the trust is mad, she'll never let a man from her next team score, she's goaler. I fit her shoe, she's feeler. If she ticks the boxes, then I'll beam her. If she gets fucked off 3 cans of strike, then you know that's Adidas. And I never go back to a cougar. And I never be ashamed of wearing Puma. But the trust is mad, she'll never let a man from her next team score, she's goaler. You ain't got no 4-5s, no you never 9s. You ain't the trappest trapper of the year, coming looking like for me money. If I wanna poke a man off stage, I don't need no king or queen. I'm the grime prince of the Southwest. Viper, yeah, no I'm purebred. Blood got no contamination round there, from dusk till dawn. Viper is like the Lone Ranger. I got big man like toes that carve me up and they move on. I call them legendary bogger man, cause the gang go raw too cool now. And I might just be kid shoe, cause I can't be what contain, bruh. And the girls say that I'm electrifying, cause I give them Zapdos, bruh. I got big man like toes that carve me up and they move on. I call them legendary bogger man, cause the gang go raw too cool now. And I might just be kid shoe, cause I can't be what contain, bruh. And the girls say that I'm electrifying, cause I give them Zapdos, bruh. And the girls say that I'm electrifying, cause I give them Zapdos, bruh. Hola bonita, mi nombre ya stan señorita. QSL Toyo, estate Fando. But don't worry about Mando. They do bop on the side roads to a little vibe speech with a side piece. I fit the shoe, she's feeling. If she ticks the boxes, I'll meme her. If she gets fucked off freeze, cause I strike, you know that's Adidas. And I never go back to a cougar. I can never be ashamed of wearing Puma. But the trust is mad, she'll never let a man from her next team score, she's goaler. I fit her shoe, she's feeling. If she ticks the boxes, then I'll meme her. If she gets fucked off 3 cans of strike, then you know that's Adidas. And I never go back to a cougar. And I never be ashamed of wearing Puma. But the trust is mad, she'll never let a man from her next team score, she's goaler.
This is an Able exclusive. It's an Able exclusive. It's an Able exclusive. It's an Able exclusive. It's an Able exclusive.
Now that was by VIPs and Able to Plug. It was called Gola and it was an absolute grime banger. The next tune we've also got on is by VIPs as well, but it's featuring Blitz. It's a clean edit, so it's a bit more kid friendly, a bit more radio happy, you know. but it's still an absolute grime banger. Make sure you're checking that out and staying tuned for the rest of the show as we keep up in the tempo and up in the fire as it progresses.
Able to plug, able to put me
It's not what you know, it's who you know. Cause every end you go to.
It's not what you know, it's who you know. Cause every end you go to, they ask you where you're from and who do you know. But really, who do you know? Who do you know? Now talking about who you know and who you roll with really could be stupid, bro. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Cause every end you go to, they ask you where you're from and who do you know. But really, who do you know? Who do you know? Now talking about who you know and who you roll with really could be stupid, bro.
Alright, Susie got the E. I'm Vicky with a but you don't wanna see Viper moving, all sorts of sticky. Wanted this man to leave no room for the elf on the shelf. Scooby's on the I've always said milk was good for your health. Moving shifty, renting out loyalty, the man call me thrifty. Burnt out man moving wiki. Parties listen when I'm so lippy. And if I don't get that pull up, wheel up, then them man there know their quality's poor. I'm from Gloucester where man are just farmers with pitchforks and water tours. Short hats get thrown down in jaws. Ranga Central and wordplay is my tool. Surf on me from chakra when I just spill. Venom on the page, I write how I feel. Yeah, you know how I deal. Viper IVF, yeah, the show, yeah, was real.
It's not what you know, it's who you know. Cause every end you go to, they ask you where you're from and who do you know. But really, who do you know? Who do you know? Nah, who do you know? Who do you know? Cause it's not what you know, it's who you know. Cause every end you go to, they ask you where you're from and who do you know. But really, who do you know? Who do you know? Now talking about who you know and who you roll with really could be stupid, bro. I got all these beats from the plug. Now, man might be able to stand on my own 2 feet like an ostrich. You can't stand on your own 2 feet like a table. I got my boy AF with that drip. When he comes through, man's dripping like maple. Man's dripping like what? Man's dripping like maple. When I started off with it, then I started cutting through paper together like a staple. It was a new era, 5950. When I kept on the label, had a few holes in my boat. Now it's all patched up and my life's all good. And I'm back on this rap team, got bars. Rock your boat like a cradle. Yeah, these man are unstable. That's why I got man running like cable. That's a line that's over your head. Electric flow can't touch, is fatal. And that's fatal. Like when I took your boot out on the first day, got to third base. Home run, hit it from the back like a baseball. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Cause every end you go to, they ask you where you're from and who do you know. But really, who do you know? Who do you know? Nah, who do you know? Who do you know? Cause it's not what you know, it's who you know. Cause every end you go to, they ask you where you're from and who do you know. But really, who do you know? Who do you know? Now talking about who you know and who you roll with really could be stupid, bro.
able to plug, able to put me, able to plug, able to put me,
So that was Unknown by VIPs and Blitz. Like I said, it was a clean edit, so it was a bit more, should we say, safe for radio, a bit more happy, but it's still an absolute grime banger. Now this next tune we got coming up is still grime, but it's with a bit more of a different accent than you're used to. It's absolutely fire still though, and it's by Kid Robotic. It's called God, but go check it out now on all streaming platforms. It's absolutely fire.
Getting to bang. Wait, yeah, who's gonna stop me? Hold up, bro. Where's to this drop? We always just win. The end of God, be your God. Yeah, I'm on my rocky, pounding on flesh. Wicked and sloppy, the end of bitch. Find a new hobby, yo, walk. Yeah, Everything I do, they all want to copy. Everything I do, they study you. Watch me get ready to catch on your body. I'm on my 10 toes, you still never caught me. On my 10 toes and I'm outside your house. Roll back the walkie and pass it about. Turning your mouth to the spray over crowns.
I'm out here getting paid on my days off. I seen your homeboys, they soft. I'm with the great big heads, I can see them from way off. Keep your hands way off. I'm Nick Cage with a rage when I face off. I play not, I work hard for 10 minutes, now it's paying off. I'm out here getting paid on my days off. I see your homeboys, they soft. Hey, I'm with the great big heads, I can see them from way off. Keep your hands way off. I'm Nick Cage with a rage when I face off. I play not, I work hard for 10 minutes, now it's paying off.
Well, you all can pass, yeah. Well, can you angry, emotional? Had your ball eating right out of my hands, get it thrown, I don't know who I'll throw it to. God, that's odd, could've swore you didn't fuck with me. You're getting all uppity, get you quick buried, I know I just seem so approachable. Oh, God, you trip through this, that's fraud. Quick tips, hip clips get lost. Get too many hits, a waddle walled. God, dredge boys with the sauce, yeah. Head top coming off, got that scoreboard on lock, yeah.
Tell a boy sit down like you're my dog. Woof, how's that for dialogue? Yeah, girl wanna kiss me like frog. Started on smoke, but now I'm on smog. Song God, ayy. You don't have nothing, but you're still getting robbed. Try to make big man rap on a mob. Sorry, that's not my job. Tell a boy sit down like you're my dog. Woof, how's that for dialogue? Ayy, your girl wanna kiss me like frog. Started on smoke, but now I'm on smog. Song God, ayy. You don't have nothing, but you're still getting robbed. Try to make big man rap on the mob. Sorry, that's not my job.
Now that was Kid Robotic, God. Now we said it would have a different kind of accent, but rah, did it come in with those next level grime flows. It may be something a bit unusual for grime, but it definitely come in. And if you haven't already, go follow him on all major streaming platforms and catch it now. And as the show progresses, we're going to come in with the next vibe now. We're still going to up that tempo, but like every good hip-hop show should end, we're going to move on to that drum and bass flex. This next one's by SK and Error, and it's featuring Mr. Traumatic, and it's called Alive. It's out now on all major streaming platforms, and it's an absolute banger. If this one doesn't get you ready to rave for the end of COVID, I don't know what will.
We're gonna take you on a journey through the sounds of drums and bass. So if you're listening through your headphones or over your speakers, turn this shit up, trust me.
Yo, it's SK. Alive inside your speaker. When you press play, I slide and ride the feature. I'm the sensei. At night I'm like a creature, sliding on the mic because it's time that I defeat ya. It's my mic and I like that I can speak up. I'm nice with the rhymes, write lines like a preacher. I'm like, hi, nice to meet ya. Then I hit the ball.
SK, this is nuts.
Drinks I'm pouring them, underneath girls not scoring them. MCs don't war with them, got 1 to 3 and 4 with them. Chappies stop talking then, MCs are appalling then. I get hot, I'm scorching them, flame smoke is pouring then. When I drop bars it's heat, erratic flows and bars on beats. Nobody as hard as me, I'm on point like archery. I can go sick with a half time, then I go fast on beats. How are you charging peas, when they know the bar is cheap? So I cut back and aim with casket flows, my mind's insane. You let me grab my mic with the king band bar, safe out like a plane. These MCs plain, all out of time and sounding the same. With the mumble doubles, I'm here, yeah, when you're out of the game. Man get smoked like an ounce of the grave, cause you know I'm about to get paid. Tell an MC goodbye, they're about to get slayed. Some man call me a dragon because I breathe fire upon my prey. And I don't care what you say. Nah, don't. 4 man in a whip, and I hope that ain't stolen. My man chat shit, so I gotta let it go like frozen. Oh yes, there's no lies, it's all truth that I've spoken. My flows in it cut deep and your whole team will get broken. Mad flows, a body man with a backstroke. SK comes so hard, I'ma eat like a fat bloke. I go hard, I get deep in the track, bro. You know that I drop bars and I drop fast, that's facts, bro. Got years to rhyme, man stop when you hear these lines. I wanna go left, but somehow yeah I'm steering right. I see the fearing guys, time for no fears of heights. SK's here rising. Ha! Please never go hard, please. These man can't par me. I'm a lobster cut, you man are eggs up bacon sarnies. I'm drunk, it's half free. It was only last week. I was touching mic on the hype, shelling the dance G. Yo, it's SK. alive inside your speaker. When you press play, I slide and ride the feature. I'm the sensei, at night I'm like a creature, sliding on the mic because it's time that I defeat ya. It's my mic and I like that I can speak up. I'm nice with the rhymes, write lines like a preacher. I'm like, hi, nice to meet ya. Then I hit the bar, trust, yo, it's SK. Alive inside your speaker, when you press play, I slide and ride the feature. I'm the sensei, at night I'm like a creature, sliding on the mic because it's time that I defeat ya. It's my mic and I like that I can speak up. I'm nice with the rhymes, write lines like a preacher. I'm like, hi, nice to meet ya. Then I hit the bar.
I kill him for free, no minimal fee. I'm so formidable, see my syllables deep, so don't be cynical G. I show no lyrical weakness. They're willing to see me spin them and leave. This lyrical D is bringing in peace. I'm drinking cinnamon tea and swimming in sea, that's typical deepness. I'm a gruesome, grimy word, don't test me and don't try me, son. I give it them an evil pikey punch, you bunch of cynical creatures. You're out of time, your time is done. It's time to die, you die for fun. No knife and gun, I strangle you, that's real talk, no mythical secrets. My lyrical pattern is bigger than big, no mythical kraken. I'm splitting an atom, I'm taking off heads and kicking them at them. No typical fashion, I pin them all down and hit them with battens. You cynical rappers, you're dealing with some critical matters. My lyrical method, we hit them and kill them with minimal effort. No typical weapon, I'm bringing the venom and kill them in seconds. No cynical questions, I'm giving them hell, I'm sick of affection. No physical section, we live in invisible bigger dimension.
My bar's offensive, my flow offensive, having that grimy sound. Yeah, that's what I intended. Man get mad to me on the mic, I'ma move his teeth like a dentist. This ain't no friendship, fuck them man, it ended. Give I'm back to bring power, go fast, electric shower. King bang, beat to devour, man I'm upstage for an hour. Man I'm on stage, might get blazed, head gone, the crowd's amazed. Your team's slow, my brother, you know I'd win if it was a race, I'm riding. On the mic if I'm hyping, SK back for the vibe, so I'm electric just like lightning. If it's beef I'll fight him, he's missing, you won't find him. I leash the beat inside him, SK going violent, cause I'll be riding bikes slower than I ride the mic then. When I drop it's dark, I think you all should find the light then. Sweet with the flow like a bowl of angel delight then. Check the booking fee, you see the price is right then.
Now, if that track didn't make you start your pre-drinks, I don't know what will. That was an absolute banger on the drum and bass flex by SK and Error, featuring Mr. Traumatic, and it's called Alive. It's available on all streaming platforms now. Go hype it up, it was an absolute banger, and it's ready to start rolling for the end of COVID lockdown. Now this is our big finale. It's at the end of our first ever episode of our 5 Word Podcast. So a big thank you to everyone getting involved. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, make sure you're catching up with us on all of our socials and you're staying tuned for this next banger. It's an absolutely fire track on the drum and bass flex, but this one's by Exile. It's entitled Back to the Rave and it's out now on all major streaming platforms. So give it up for Exile and check out the track now.
Watch this one, boy. Here comes the champion sound. Nice it up. Here comes the champion sound. comes the champion sound. Sound. Nice it up. Here comes the champion sound. Nice it up. Here comes the champion sound. Comes the champion sound. Nice it up. Here comes the champion sound. It up.
Raw. Now that was Exile, Back to the Rave. And like I said, if it didn't get you dancing, it didn't get your pre-drinks popping, you don't know what you're doing. Now, it's time to wrap up our show, but I just wanted to say a massive thank you to all of the artists involved. A big thank you to everyone involved in the brand and everyone that's been copping our merch. If you haven't already, make sure you're checking our Artist Ambassadors Mix series on YouTube, as well as our exclusive bar series that's out now. Alongside that, make sure you're staying tuned for our next episode of the 5 Word Podcast, and like, share and subscribe, comment, check out all our socials, do all the above, and also make sure you're copping our garms exclusively from sleevyclothing.co.uk. Use discount code Sleevy for 10% off everything. But big love to everyone in the team, big love to everyone involved in the podcast, and most importantly, big up to every one of you for subscribing and listening and checking it out, commenting, sharing with your friends, all of the above. Big love. And once again, I'm your man with the face for radio, Sleevy Wonder himself. But don't take my word for it, check it out on our socials now. Peace.